Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am going to be reorganizing my pantry. To be honest, it's a bit of an embarrassment at the moment. It's just there and yeah, it's in desperate need to be reorganized. I'm just finding it's getting fuller and fuller and things just are really hard to find, so I thought I would get in there and get it organized. So let's check it out. It's pretty bad. I'm just warning you all right now. Okay, let's start from the top. Loads of alcohol, and Ryan and I don't drink, so I have to figure out, we always just get gifted alcohol and it's just so much of it, and it just ends up just sitting and taking up the top shelf of my pantry. Second shelf down, it's all like sauces and just like rice and like pasta and just a whole bunch of random stuff. Just needs to be a bit more organized. Next shelf down, cereal, popcorn, a pack of cakes for backups, and then like all my baking stuff. I have so much baking stuff, from like baking ingredients to decorations to like I've got a whole thing of like cupcake like patty cases. Like it's just like ridiculous, so it needs to have some form of order. Then the bottom shelf is just like pretty much like storage, pretty much anything that I can't find a space for just gets chucked on there. That is recycling, it's not random rubbish. And just like cat food and just random stuff. That's like our plastic bag holder. And then like as you can see, the floor has just started getting stuff stored on it. Obviously we keep our soft drink in here, and if you're wondering what this like plastic bag is here, this is our soft plastic, so like things like packaging and the bags that you get at the shops for your fruit and veg and stuff like that. And that's actually recyclable. It just can't be recycled with your yellow bin if you're in Australia. That kind of recycling, it needs to go into plastic recycling. So most Coles and Woolies have them, and occasionally you might have like a recycling green room at your shopping centre. So yeah, we try to do the right thing and we keep all our soft plastics, and then when we pop up to the shops we just take them to the plastics recycling up there. But essentially, like it's just, oh yeah, and this is the back of the door where I've got like my aprons and mitts and a fire blanket. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty horrendous. So I'm gonna try and just get some form of order going, and yeah, we'll see how we go. So we're making progress. I can actually see the shelf and touch the shelf. So now to tackle the baking stuff. So if you can't tell by all of this stuff, I do like a little bit of baking. I have so much baking stuff, it's kind of ridiculous. Like sand, sugar, and heart, chocolate heart, random icing nozzles. What else? Baking stuff. Yeah, there's just so much stuff. Patty cases, patty cases, patty cases. Oh my god, I have like 2 whole things of patty cases. I have to and reorganize it, because yeah, I need to sort this out into some function, like Christmas stuff, Christmas party pieces, more sanding sugar. There's just so much. Oh look, more jelly. I always have jelly, and the reason I always have jelly is I have strawberry jelly because I use it in Christmas trifle, and green jelly because I like green jelly. It's my preferred flavour. Yeah, so hopefully I can try and organise some of this stuff. So let's take a look at my pantry now that I have reorganised it. So we'll start with the top shelf. The top shelf was covered with all our alcohol, and it actually looked really full, and I actually thought we had more than we actually do. We still have a lot, which is a bit surprising, as I said, because Ryan and I don't actually drink that much. But what I found was all these bottles were pulled to the front and they didn't actually go to the back. So what I've done is all our spirits on this side, plus Ryan's thermos over there on the left, I've just lined everything up, and I've pretty much just put it in categories of bourbon and just like other spirits and liqueurs, and obviously we have them for when we need them. I've got a couple of glass jugs and some plastic cups in the corner, some medicines here just in a Tupperware container, and it's just things like infant's friend, kids Panadol, kids Nurofen, cough medicine. So yeah, got that in the pantry, top shelf away from baby hands, and then over here is just our wine, and I've just lined it up just sort of by type. So red, white, sparkling, proper champagne, and then these are the bottles from our engagement, so these are the personalised bottles. So the next shelf down, I've tried to put the things that we use the most, so I've actually rearranged how things were. So here is all our breakfast foods and cereals and stuff like that. So this actually was on the lower shelf, and I found it was a lot more harder to see and get to. I found that Ryan found it difficult to know where his cornflakes were, which are now here, and there's actually nothing in front of them, so he can always find them. And as you can see, I've also labelled things. So this one is baby cereal and rusks, and it's just a container. I just think it looks tidier in a container. So I've got our cereals here, and then obviously if you flip it around you can see like different types of rusks. If you're wondering why there's like a packet cake mix there, because it is something that I like to have on hand, and I do probably use them in a pinch quite often, so having them there and I know how many I have, that's why they're there in with the breakfast stuff, not that I'd have cake for breakfast. Then here is like our pasta, rice and couscous, as you can see by the label. So these labels I just made with our label maker. I didn't buy a label maker for this project, I just had one. It was a pretty cheap one and it does the job pretty well, and you can get them online or at places like Officeworks and stuff. Then I have our canned things, and I actually don't have that much because I've been trying really hard to keep how much canned food I have to a minimum, because I find that that just fills up my pantry way too much. So the last few times I have cleaned out my pantry, I have tried to actually be mindful and actually use the stuff that I have in cans and tins, so things like tuna, baked beans, chickpeas, but at least these are all things that I know that I will use. Chickpeas, passion fruit, there's a can of soup there. I like to always have a can of soup in the house. Not that Ryan has soup, but I do occasionally like it. Then just got some copper soups. I have copper soups, don't really know what to say about that. And then just some sauces that we use occasionally, so like pasta sauces and a satay marinade if I'm too lazy to make it from scratch. You can see a whole pile of condensed milk at back, and I actually just bought some of that on special, especially as it is coming up to the end of the year. Around November, December, I definitely make a lot of more desserts with condensed milk, especially for Christmas. This is probably the messiest part of the whole pantry, and it's just because it's sort of like some meal bases and stuff like that, and I then found these two after, and they don't fit in the container I used, but once I use them, that'll be fine. And then behind that is just my spices. That's pretty self-explanatory with the spices. And then here is just, again, like stock powder, gravy powder, a spice mix, salt, some random sauces. The sauces that you should have in your pantry because you use them for that one recipe, but you actually will use them. So things like fish sauce and spare oil. Yeah. Moving down to the next shelf, this is the shelf that's had probably the most improvement, and the reason for that is simple. So this is where all my baking supplies and my cake decorating equipment was, and I found it was so full that it was like full to the top of this shelf, and it just looks so messy. So this actually looks much clearer and much neater. And what I've done is, these are all the, I guess, raw cooking ingredients like sugar, flour. I actually found out that I have quite a lot of varieties of sugar because I have icing sugar, white sugar, raw sugar, brown sugar, dark brown sugar, caster sugar. So yeah, they're all there and they're all labelled. These are just the decor containers, and Big W actually just had a sale on them recently, so I bought a whole bunch knowing that I was going to do this project, and it makes it look less cluttered because I had like 2 packets of white sugar that were open, but because it was so messy I couldn't see that I had 2, so I was able to condense it into 1 container. Then this is my baking supplies. So this is things that you would use in baking that I obviously don't want to put in a big container, so like baking powder, bicarb soda, vanilla essence, cocoa, things like that. So that's all in there. And I didn't throw out all of my cake decorating supplies, but what I did is I went to Big W and bought a 52-litre tub, and they're all in there, and I keep them on the floor under the bottom shelf because they're not an everyday use, and I can just pull this out when I need it. And yeah, it's just way better to have it all down here. So then in the corner I just have space for anything else. Maybe I'll put like Maddison's formula or bread or something there, and I just have some rice paper things for rice paper rolls, and just some prunes, and I think some cranberries. Yeah, some cranberries. So the prunes are for Maddison, cranberries are just if I'm making something, I don't know, I use it in baking essentially. So this is some tea that I have. I do have all my tea, sort of the majority of my tea stored above where like my kettle is on the bench, but obviously I don't have room for all of it. So these are loose leaf teas, so I don't have loose leaf that often because I actually have to get my teapot out and brew it, which obviously as a mum I don't always have time for. And then this is just full of random individually packed tea bags. I do like a good variety of tea, so there's things like traditional afternoon, Australian afternoon, Prince of Wales tea, so, and as the label says, assorted tea bags. So, and then crackers. For some reason, Brad and I always on a Sunday afternoon want cheese and crackers and can never find our crackers because our pantry's just been a nightmare. So I've put them out so we know exactly where they are, and the bench is all clear, so we shouldn't not know where they are. Then this is the next thing that I've done. It's going to be this. It is now the snacks top, and I know they say that's not really unhealthy to have something with snacks, but I find that Ryan can never find something that he wants, and I just decided that I was just going to put like tub snacks on it. I'll just put things in there that we eat, so like small packet of shapes, or a 501 bar, or hazelnuts, or breakfast, or popcorn, or miniature cookies. So I'll probably put stuff like, if we get like a packet of biscuits, that'll probably go in there too, just so that Ryan knows exactly where it is. So the bottom shelf, I just have the leftover water that we have from when we've bought a packet of water from when we've been entertaining, random big bottle of water. That basket is from IKEA, and currently there is our soft plastics recycling. So so in that basket is our soft plastics recycling, and that was previously hung on the back of the pantry door. I kind of was going to use that for our potatoes that we get in every week, but Ryan put soft plastic in there, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might get something separate for soft plastics and then keep that for potatoes, because we do have this one for our recycling, and then there's just some random canisters at the back that I haven't really got a home for yet, so that's that. Then this is just our plastic bag holder that we use, some vegetable oil for our deep fryer, cat food, and then the floor. Oh my god, I forgot that I had a pantry floor. So I do now, it's been cleaned and stuff, which is great. So we just have our soft drink, which has always been in that corner, and then this is our crisps and snacks tub. So we do go out a fair bit, and we do like to take like a packet of crisps with us. So I put them all in this container, so Ryan can just pull it out, have a look at what we have, and he can pick what we want. Then he doesn't have to like search everywhere and in shelves and whatever. He can just see what we have. There's a random tub in the back there that's just stubby holders, and I just labelled that. We just get that out when we're entertaining and we have a whole bunch of people, and it's, you know, everyone has cold drinks. Do other countries have stubby holders? I don't know. Or is it just an Australian thing? Let me know down below if other countries apart from Australia have stubby holders. Obviously Bali do, but that's because Australians go there, I think. Some more calico bags, which I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with because I actually have so many of them. And then this is my cake decorating supplies that I had talked about, so I'll quickly pull it out. Oh, there's a plastic bag on there. I'll quickly pull it out and show you inside. So this is what it looks like inside. So everything's still relatively organised. It kind of was before. So the bottom big tub has all my cupcake holders. If you remember, they were like spread across a couple of packets. There's a couple of spare packets around. This is all like my icing pens. This is all my food colouring. And then all around the edge, except this jelly here, is all around the edge except this jelly is decorations. So like sanding sugar, cake balls, sprinkles, you know, there's like flowers. So yes, I do like cake decorating when I have time to, but I don't always have time to now that I've had Maddison. But yeah, it's all organised and yeah, in a storage crate that I can just push out of the way. So now you've seen my made over pantry and how it's been reorganised and just in general cleared out and decluttered, if that's even a thing. So here are my tips for decluttering your pantry. First of all, figure out if you have any double ups of anything. So flour, sugar, anything like that, that can be condensed into one container. If they can be, great. Start with that. So my next tip is if you have lots of things that are in cardboard packaging, I find that that actually takes up a lot of room. So be mindful about what you have. So for example, I removed all the cardboard packaging for Maddison's teething rusks and cereal and was able to put them in a smaller container. I just found instead of having 3 or 4 boxes of different things, I can just put them all into one container and I know where all those things are for her. It's the same with our snacks box. That all the things had their own packet and it just made it look very cluttered and very full. So putting them all into one central location and then I've removed all that extra packaging is great. So my next tip is utilise the space under your bottom shelf. If you have things that aren't used every day, for example like my cake decorating supplies, that's a great place to put them in a storage container and to slip them away instead of having them cluttering up your shelves. Another tip that I like to do, and it might not work for you but it definitely works for me, is I like to make sure that everything has its own place or holder. So for example, I have all my meal bases in a plastic container. This is just one that I've used right now and I just find it keeps them all together. It's tidier for me, I guess. That's the way I like it. To keep your pantry to a minimum, it's a good idea to have a good understanding of what is actually in your pantry and what you're using and what you're not. And to do that, I find you need to actually go through and clear out your pantry probably more often than not. I probably do mine every 4 to 6 months, but I actually haven't done it since my nesting phase with Maddison, so that was probably 7 to 8 months ago. So I sort of let it go a bit, which is why it looked absolutely horrendous before I started. But that's how I've been able to keep my canned foods down to a minimum, because I have been trying over the last couple of years to keep my canned foods to a minimum. I even found that a couple of weeks ago, before I'd done my food shop, I needed something for lunch, and I just came into my pantry and made some pasta with tuna and corn, and I was obviously using something up in my pantry. So you know your pantry better than anyone else, so it's a good idea to reorganize your pantry and make sure that the things that you use the most or go to reach for the most are in the most accessible places. So I can't believe that I didn't have my cereals and breakfast stuff on an eye level shelf along with the pasta and like my cooking stuff. It just makes so much more sense. And then obviously having things like the snacks, which I don't go for very often. It's a good idea to have the things that you reach for the most on the most accessible shelf, and to be honest, that shelf is the one that's at your eye level. So things like your breakfast cereals or things that you cook with every day, things like that should be at eye level, and then prioritize where things go around that. So I have my baking stuff on the one below my eye level, and I have the alcohol and things like that above, and then obviously the recycling and those bits and pieces on the lower shelf, because obviously I don't want those anywhere near all of the regular stuff. So that's my pantry reorganised and decluttered. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you aren't already subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to stick around for some more mummy content videos and our vlogs that we put out every week, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.